Hi guys, Justin Linn here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Justin Linn. Um, Odds are you don't know me, and I don't know you, um, and that's my fault. I apologize in advance for that. 10 years I've been single, and I probably should know a lot of people by now. But I've been going. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened to me in the last 10 years. But anyway, the reason for this video is to clarify my intention. And my intention is to figure out how I can help you help others in building their legacy. Now, the only way I can do that is if I help you with your legacy. So if I help you, you help others. I mean, that's really you win, I win, everybody wins, and that's the whole deal. Is a relationship. How can we communicate? How can we, get together, figure something out? How can we be, be impactful in others' lives? And that's huge for everybody that we become in contact with. But anyway, the big thing is with the legacy part. There's a lot that goes into that because. And you could ask yourself, what do I want to do in life? What do I want to accomplish? One of the things you got to do is really there's a few fundamental things, and I'm sure you already know this. I know for me, it's taken me a while to figure things and hone things out, figure them out. But I've really over the past 10 years, it's taken a huge span of time for me to get everything honed down and figured out what I want to do. Because for the longest time, I had no clue what I wanted to do. So anyway, first you gotta believe in yourself. Now, I know as a young kid, I remember eating cereal. And it reminds me of the certain picture of like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. Who did those guys, being so, how do I say this? Being so dynamic in their field, and being such a force to be reckoned with. LeBron James and Kobe Bryant are huge. I mean, they are well-known names. They know how to play their game. They do it well. But who was someone that they look up to? Well, it was Michael Jordan. If you remember when Kobe Bryant passed away just recently, that they were talking about, Michael Jordan actually talked about how Kobe Bryant was like his little brother, and but they were after Michael Jordan, had left the game of basketball. Kobe Bryant actually was communicating with Michael Jordan and being mentored by Michael Jordan, and and it was more of a relationship thing. And questions get asked and stuff like that. But LeBron James, he was Michael Jordan was one of his. It was a huge impact in his life as well. And LeBron James is a very good ball player. How about Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson was definitely a force to be reckoned with into the boxing ring. And who was his role model? Well, it was Muhammad Ali. I remember watching an interview here recently, and Mike Tyson, at I guess age 14, he was he actually watched the fight where Muhammad Ali lost the title to another opponent. And that made Mike Tyson mad. It frustrated Mike Tyson. And he got to the point where he wanted to start boxing himself. And so Mike Tyson actually pursued the trainer of Muhammad Ali, and the trainer of Muhammad Ali actually became Mike Tyson's trainer. And Mike Tyson eventually avenged Muhammad Ali's the guy that beat Muhammad Ali, and he beat that guy. Marco Rubel was another boxer and his role model was, I think, George Foreman. Um, so anyway, there's a few in the boxing realm. The basketball, Than Merrill. I don't know if anybody knows who Than Merrill is. Than Merrill was a football player who got injured and didn't know what he was going to do at that point. He started a restaurant to make money, and he ended up losing that, getting frustrated with the restaurant business. He just got out of it, and then he started getting into real estate. Well, if you remember, Than Merrill was in A&E's Flip This House with two other guys, Paul and his brother. They're brothers that were with Than Merrill, and they started flipping houses on that show. Well, Than Merrill ended up now is doing investing in properties and stuff, real estate investors, and he actually helps other people learn his process on how to get into real estate and all that. Um, and Than Merrill actually is now is in contact with Warren Buffett. They're friends. I think they're friends right now. And so Than Merrill is getting things from Warren Buffett. You know, Warren Buffett's a billionaire. So there's a lot to learn from Warren Buffett. Lee Arnold's another one. Grant Cardone, huge. Bill Gates, you know him. Jeff Bezos, everybody knows who he is. Elon Musk, and Larry Page. But really, these guys, I mean, they're big players, but they think at a level where anything is possible, you know, and that's what I'm trying to get at here. Is I know for me, no one knows who I am, and that's fine. But with me, I know I want to do something big. I want to do big things in my life, and I wasted 10 years. I flat out wasted 10 years of my life trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I had nothing. I had no job. I was beginning single life. I hated life. I was at the point where I didn't want to live anymore. And I basically gave up. And so anyway, but believing in yourself is huge, you know, and I know with those people I just listed, people also believed in someone else. They were inspired by someone else. They believed in them. And later on, you know, like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, they actually saw something. They saw that, how do I say that? They saw that something could be done, and they envisioned themselves and pushed themselves to that level to be great. So they were persistent in their process, you know, and they pursued their full potential. So that's another thing, is you have to be persistent. And in the process, I know for me, since 2016, I was blown away by the things that I've learned. I went to this, heard on the radio, all these advertisements, you know, come to this, learn how to use other people's money to buy property. And I heard it on the radio. I heard it on, I seen it on Facebook. I seen it on TV. I kept on hearing it for like a solid month. And I'm like, these guys, this has got to be a gimmick. You know, it's got to be a joke. These guys are gurus. They're just trying to, you know, take advantage of people. And I was like, there ain't no way. And that was when I first started hearing them. I'm like, this has got to be a joke, you know. Well, I kept on hearing it. I'm almost like, and I was reminded of those guys, and I was like, okay, maybe there is something there that I don't know. So I was interested, but at the same time, I was really skeptical. So I ended up going to this deal, but anyway, it was free. This was a free deal. So they're offering free, it was a free seminar, and you had to click on a link or something like that, and then you have to sign up, and then you basically had seats. for free, and you were able to attend the 2 hour seminar or however long it was. And I was trying to get a single guy. I was trying to get someone to go with me. I'm like, okay, I don't want to go to this place alone, and I don't want to hear what they have to say um, all alone. So I wanted someone to go along with me to kind of get a second opinion on what they thought about this whole thing, because I had no clue. I just was just intrigued by it. I wanted to see if it was legit or if it was just a scam like I thought it was. So anyway, I went on Facebook. I tried to get people to see if anybody was interested in joining me, and no one ended up jumping in. No one wanted to go. And anyway, my mom ended up going with me, and so we get to this place. It was actually in the Hyatt in Wichita, Kansas. I went to this seminar, and it was like I don't know, 10 people that were basically, it seemed like to me, that were kind of orchestrating the event. And they had tables in the back, and then the speaker was up front, and talking about all this stuff, where everybody's, getting engaged, and yeah, we'd love to do this, and how to use other people's money to make money and all this kind of stuff. Well, long story short, is they got to, well, what if we were to tell you it's going to cost this much? It's going to cost like $5,000. It was some out of the ordinary. I mean, it's just not even. It's like, yeah, right. $5,000 we're just going to give to people that we don't know. And then it was like he lowered the number down. He went to like 2,000 or 2,500, something like that. And then I'm like, yeah, right. This is a joke. Well, he kept dropping it, and he finally went down to a number that was, to me, it was, okay, I could do this, to learn a little bit more. And it was $199. And my mom, before this, because we were listening the whole time, we had this little book where we were writing stuff down, and they said their certain company name, which is how they make money. They were telling us how they make money, and we're like, aha, we're trying to figure this out. How are they here? How could they, how are they making their money? What are they trying to get from us? Well, my mom, she wrote this down, and she's like, we have all we need. And I'm laughing. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. We have all we need, but I want to do this. I want to learn from these people. I want to understand, where they're coming from, how they're saying that I can use someone else's money to get into real estate. I had no clue. You see, because I had background in real estate. My dad built houses for a living, and off and on when I worked for Coca-Cola, I was working off and on with him as an apprentice. So I was helping him do foundations and framing and all this kind of stuff. But my dad was a jack of all trades on construction. That guy's genius. But anyway, so my mom, she's here, right? We have all we need, So we had this information she thought that's all we need, and we're just going to leave here, and we're gonna build something great from that. Well, to this day, and this is 2016. To this day, I've asked my mom like 2 or 3 times. So what have you done with that information that you wrote down? When we went to that seminar in Wichita, what have you done with that? And she kind of looked at me like, yeah. And so to me, I laugh a little bit because it really takes action with with the information that you have. Sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to figure out what we're going to do with it. But for me, that information that she had, she's not using at all. She wrote the information down, and it can be used to a great advantage, but you got to know how to act on that information, And so anyway, I was persistent in my process, and I started to believe in these people. I started to believe in what they were saying, what they were doing. They were starting to build a relationship with me, even though, and to me, I felt there was something there. There was something that I could learn from them, And so I went back to the table and I had a credit card that had like a little over $200 or something like that. It was right at $200. And I'm like, great. And so my mom, I was like, if is there any way that you could help me pay for fuel to get back and forth from work so I can go to this 3 day boot camp because I want to do this. She's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I signed up for this thing, and a month later, we were the boot camp was scheduled to run. So I was working 7 days a week then. I was working 7 days a week, working two jobs. And what I did, the boot camp was a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. And I took vacation days on all three of those days. And I attended these boot camps days, and they were 8 hour days. So it was like a full work day. So I would drive from where I lived to Wichita, and then I would do the boot camp, doing that for 8 hours a day, writing down notes, getting involved, doing all these sorts of things during the daytime, learning what they had to say. And it changed everything for me because my mind was blown. And if I hadn't been persistent in that, I probably would have never gone to the level where I am right now. I'm not saying I'm in a huge level by no means, but in my mind, I've gone to huge moves, and that's where I'm trying to get whoever wants to get involved with me. If I can get you past the point where you believe that something is possible, you should try to pursue that. Even though you may believe that something may be sketchy, or it might be kind of it's just a scam. Try it out. Go for it. If it's not me, if it's someone else, you think, at least give it a chance. Try it for a little bit. But anyway, be persistent in your process. And you have potential. You have the potential in you. And you have purpose. What's your purpose? This all boils down to the legacy of you, the legacy of your family and your friends, if you want to have an impact in their life. But it all starts with you. If you can't help you in getting to the level that you want to be, you can never help someone else. And it's almost like, and some say, and I've heard Grant Cardone say this, you're being selfish right now. So basically, if you don't move forward with something else, with all the stuff I'm talking about, say if you didn't move forward, he would almost say you're being selfish, because what he's saying is you're not willing to get yourself at a level where you can help someone else. That's exactly what he's saying. So some say that money is greed, people are greedy that have money. What really, like, for all those people that I mentioned, Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and Grant Cardone, Lee Arnold, those guys, Elon Musk, those guys saw something big, but they offer something to other people too. They offer jobs, they offer all this kind of stuff. So, but they had to think about their vision first and what they saw. And at that process, they were able to help other people in their lives, and get better paying jobs and stuff like that. And also working with them side by side, being able to mentor them, being able to instill certain things in them that they would have never learned. And that's, for me, that's what I've gotten myself to the level where I've done that, and I'm trying not to follow everybody, and get certain things. So I'm trying to, for the last couple of years, I've tried to focus on just following one person, and that's what I've done. So recently, the biggest one has been Grant Cardone. He gives you so much value at a level that is beyond belief. And Like, I'll watch him on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff that he has. Like, I've actually got on his. I'm not trying to sell his stuff, but I believed in him. There was one point that I didn't even like Grant Cardone, and I was just like, this guy is an arrogant dude, and I do not want to follow this dude. And but it's funny because someone actually mentioned him to me in like 2014. He goes, "Do you know this? You know this? You know Grant Cardone?" I said, "No, I don't." He goes, "Well, you ought to give me something." He goes, "We ought to listen to this." I'm like, "Okay," and I listened to it, and it really wasn't that appealing to me. And but later on, I kept thinking about that. Keep, and I saw his name pop up every once in a while, but I can't remember how I got onto him one time because I was watching a Facebook uh, feed, and he ended up popping up on my newsfeed with a video, and he said something about being a light or something like that, a candle or something like that. I can't find that video to this day, but remember watching that video, and I was like, man, maybe Grant Cardone's a better person than what I thought he was, you know. And so after that point, I think it was like 2017, 2018. After watching this video, I really started to follow him, really started to, hear what he had to say and stuff like that. And all this that I'm talking about right now, it falls into my book. And I have it at a ridiculous price right now. It's $47, but right now I'm trying to figure out how I can get that to people. But it takes action. If people aren't willing to even get, if I offered this at $10, would it be worth it? How about $1.99? I had it at $1.47 a few weeks ago, and I'm telling you, this huge. It's a huge value because what I'm saying in this video right now has a huge impact. And I could never be saying anything on this video hadn't been for this secret that I had subconsciously held inside of me for the longest time. And all I really can say is if you've been watching this video for this long right now, I would not be surprised if you have this secret ingredient inside of you as well. And 99% sure that you have that secret right now inside of you. Now, many judge a people by a cover, a book by its cover, giving it no chance at all. And it's a sad thing because, and that's what I did to Grant Cardone. I did not give him a chance. I saw what I saw, and I was like, that guy, I do not want to follow him because he's got this demeanor about him. I didn't like it, and it was for a couple of years. I never was really intrigued about it, and it wasn't until I watched that video where I realized that Grant Cardone is not what I thought he was. He may be something. He may have a little bit more meaning inside, without with more than what I just saw or what I of him. So anyway, with that being said, my goal, my intention is to, like I said, is to get you to the point where you be more open to possibilities. I know for me that for the longest time I was just shut off. I was just like, if it's not my way and I don't really see it, I just come to the conclusion that it's impossible. There's no way it can happen. But Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Mike Tyson, Marco Rubel, George Foreman. I mean, Michael Jordan. Who did Michael Jordan look up to? Who was he inspired by? What inspired him to be the great player that he was? I remember when I was a little kid, and I was, like I said before, I was eating cereal. It was Wheaties, a box of Wheaties, and I remember seeing Michael Jordan. As a picture of Michael Jordan on this on the Wheaties box, and it was of, I think it was the famous poster picture of him in like midair slamming a, getting ready to slam the ball, and it was just his feet were like straight back, like his legs were back, and it was just an amazing shot. Well, this poster was actually inside these Wheaties boxes. They were actually given. It was a prize. You know, a lot of times in those days they had prizes in the box, like a almost like a toy. But this was a poster of Michael Jordan, and I had that poster, and I think I hung it up a few years later. And but anyway, that was one of the most amazing. It gave me, how do I say this? It gave me a like, wow, how in the world can that guy be that far up in the air? You know, um, that is amazing. You know, and so he was an icon. You know, and a role model. He changed the whole game of basketball. You know, and that's what I'm trying to say is, you know, he believed in himself to do that. You know, and I don't know who he looked up to. I haven't gone into details of that, but I'm very curious to know who his role model was. Um, but anyway, believing in yourself is huge. Being in your persistent state, you have to be persistent in your process to pursue your full potential. You have to be. If you want to get somewhere, if you want to have an impact in other people's lives, you have to pursue, and you have to be persistent in that pursuit. Um, because you have purpose, and only you can find that. You know, I can't find that for you, you know, and I have to find mine. Um, I can build relationships that could help me find some more purpose, you know, but I want to be able to uh, have these great relationships where I'm, you know, having, you know, I can go to McDonald's, you know, wherever. If someone's hanging out on the side, or if someone's begging for money, I can give them something, you know, not just $1 or, you know, $2. I'll have to give them a $20 bill, you know, or something like that. Something that's going to help them through a couple of days, you know, something like that. But that's the kind of level that I want to be at. Um, is helping people in such a way where they're like, that dude is a good dude. You know, that guy has helped me in such a way that I could never repay him. And that's the level that I want to be. Is I want to be at a level where um, I could never be repaid back. You know, um, but just remembered for that moment. You know, as a positive moment. I don't want to be a negative. I don't want to have a negative moment in someone's life. I want to have a positive moment in that person's life. That if I only meet a person once, I want to have a positive impact. I want to have a positive, um, positive moment with them. And that's my goal, you know. And if I can have that with someone like you, that would be, uh, that's for time to decide. But that's going to require action. You get the book. If I had the book listed at a certain price, you could click on that link and start getting emails from me if you wanted to. Uh, but anyway, that's up to you. But like I said before, uh, judging a book by its cover is it's a hard thing sometimes. You give someone a chance, you know. Give someone that you how do I say this? Give someone a chance that you um, you see as a threat. You don't really, you know, you don't really. How do I say this? You you don't really want them to have. How do I say this? You don't want them to have the satisfaction of knowing that they're the ones that inspired you because of how they seem to you. You know, they seem like they're an arrogant person, or they think that they're all that in a bag of chips, and you don't want to give them that, that, like I said, you don't want to give them that gratification, uh, satisfaction, knowing that they got to you, and um, I guess the resentment. You resent that person because they are such a force in their realm, and I know, like someone like Grant Cardone, dude, that guy, he has dissected the sales process like no other. And I know that dissecting something so deep is definitely a huge way in being successful. And that guy is definitely a dissecting fool as far as sales. He's dissected the sales process. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to sales. And he is an inspiration to me. And I like to meet the guy one day, but you never know. Uh, Man, Elon Musk, that guy's incredible. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Lee Arnold, Van Merrill, Warren Buffett. I mean, George Foreman, Mark. I mean, those guys, Mike Tyson, man, uh, huge, huge in their spaces. And but you gotta get good at it. You gotta be persistent at it. And all I can say is, if you don't have this inside of you, you don't have that secret, you will never be like those guys. Those guys have this right here. They have this. They may not tell you exactly the way I tell you that it is in this book, but I'm telling you, those guys have this secret. They know what it is. They know what they have to have to be successful. They know what it's like uh, to be at that level. And for me, I want to make it to that level. I want to follow them, even though it's going to take work on my part. It's going to take a lot of work. Um, in all reality, um, I don't know. It's gonna depend on me. Depend on me to work on me. And it takes time, takes commitment. It's like going to college. You have to commit to it. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be in this class. But you have to learn. You have to give it to yourself. You have to give that gift to yourself. You know, and some people don't even get that high paying job that's being promised to them. And unfortunately, it's a sad thing, but and that's why it's so important to follow the big guys, because those guys, some of them didn't need college educations. I'm not saying college is bad, but a lot of those guys probably didn't spend all their days in college. But anyways, my name is Justin Linn, and my intention is to have a positive impact in those that are around me. Legacy is everything.